and welcome back to our new addition to the Right Mortgage Insights podcast, The Opportunity Insights. I'm Victoria Clark, Head of Lending here at the network. I'm with you again as your host for today's podcast. Here joining me, we're very lucky to be able to welcome back for a second time our Commercial and Strategy Director, Amanda Wilson, and our Managing Director, and by all accounts, Amanda's chauffeur, Ben Allen. What a combo, and welcome back to the podcast, both.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Great to be with you.
Hi, everybody.
If you haven't listened to our introductory podcast of the Opportunity Podcast, which is where Amanda and Ben first made their debut to the podcast, introducing their new director roles, I welcome you to go back, have a listen, and get to know more about them and their plans as they progress within the network. In the previous podcast, you both touched on our peer group sessions. So thank you very much for coming back after the full series of the peer groups. I know it very much took a toll on you anyway at the time, going all across country as you did to see all of our lovely advisors and all of our AR principals. This was the first time these peer groups were run by a director. And if I do say so myself, since you've concluded the peer groups, I've heard nothing but positive feedback from the sessions from our principals and also from the sponsors who were involved as well. So I bet it was such an opportunity to be able to work together and have that. So really excited to get to know more about how they all went. But Ben, tell us a bit about how they were and what are your thoughts on the sessions with it being your first time running them?
Yeah, do you know what? First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who came along. It was really, really good to see so many firm principals so engaged as well. You know, really, really keen to work with us. In a collaborative fashion to grow their businesses, to grow our business as well. So, firstly, thanks to everybody who turned out. Well, that was super. I also want to say thank you very much to our own staff who came along. So we were ably supported by Kim and by Chelsea and by Jaden. So thank you to each of those for coming along. And of course, in Newport, Phil joined us as well. So that was really super. Had a great time traveling the length and breadth of the country with Amanda. We both found a newfound love for steak and kidney pudding. So that was also a big takeaway from me. But overall, I just really want to say what a fantastic session it was. I also shouldn't forget to mention the excellent support that we were so grateful to receive from our provider partners. We were really pleased to have with us Payment Shield, Holloway Friendly, and of course Key Retirement Group as well. We learned a lot from the experiences of their various representatives, and there were many takeaways that we plan to pop into our businesses as well. So I guess the high level from me was it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to be out on the road again. Lovely to meet with our brokers and with our firm principals. That was super. And nice to get the creative hat on and think about how we can collaborate to make things even better.
How about you, Amanda? How did you find it for this part of the ones that you were involved in?
I think it was really exciting to listen to people. It was nice to meet a diverse group of people, and even some people I haven't met before, or people will always say to me after the NTE, I did see you walking around, but you were too busy. I'm never too busy. So it was nice to be in an environment where we were sat with people. But also, I think Ben and I, without talking too much out of turn, I think both Ben and I both feel that we're going to take away a lot more and get answers to things, get things sorted, feedback things. And sometimes it's not that we need to feed it back, it's that we need to understand how we're communicating it, because the amount of times I heard that you don't tell us enough things and in the same breath we get too many emails off you was just too regular. So that's something else that we're going to look into so that we can keep you abreast of everything that's going on as often as we can, but without clogging up your inboxes, if that makes sense.
There's just too many really exciting things all the time.
All the
Isn't there?
time,
That's the
so many
problem.
exciting things.
But this sounds so exciting, and I'm so glad you both got to be able to do that and see everyone. But you mentioned some of the takeaways, but what do you think are the standout takeaways and the practical ideas that were taken from the sessions?
Well, I think what I've noticed, and I think it's if every salesman's going to have a personality trait, it's going to be time management. And that came out across the board, but I hear it from my own team as well, is what do you do first? How do you prioritize? So we've really taken that on board, how we can help people with time management. And Ben's already spoken to an admin service. We've looked into changing our recruitment strategies to help and support more. I found a few recruitment agencies, and we're going to bring all of these things together to have them all in one place. And Ben's going to do a few more with Aidan, AR principal webinars, which hopefully we can tell you, because you're not reading the emails because we send out too many. But I think that for me, I'd love to hear how many people said they want to do more protection sales, but actually you can do that. You know, that's a whole different subject, which Phil's going to get more involved in. But I think the standout for me is that people still need, doesn't matter what CRM system people have got, what diary systems people have got. If you're a salesperson, you always want more. You always want to do more. So how can we help you control your day, plan your day, sorry, and still keep sales and make more money for all of us? We help you make money, you make more money. We make more money.
For me, I think it was really important to understand the purpose of these sessions. They were there and in place for us to better get to know our firms. This was us reaching out and saying we want to understand, you know, what's good, what works well for you. We also want to understand the pain points, those pressure points that make it difficult to do your job. And then we want to understand what the firms need from the network. And those were the three key questions that we posed at each one of the events that we did. The idea being that by getting to know businesses, and we spent a great deal of time going around the table, and I make no apology for that, because it was so good to really understand the businesses. And sure, we might have run over a couple of times, but it really felt like we were putting in place some strong foundations. Off the basis of that, what we want to do is build a sort of a collaborative approach, not just with the network, but also with peers. That's the whole concept of a peer group, so that they can help and support each other. And with that, of course, comes the accountability. I think we'd all agree that the smart action plan as it is requires that we have somebody hold us accountable for the things that we say that we're going to do. So that very much came out. Some of the things that stood out to me in terms of key themes, as Amanda said, time management was definitely one of them. But I want to link that to working on the business and goal setting. So something that's really important for businesses, new or old, is to always have a goal in place. So Amanda spoke at length about goal setting within the Wilson household and post-it notes that get placed on mirrors in bathrooms and things like that. And that was really beneficial to hear anecdotes like that, because it shows the importance that even the most successful people still set goals to make sure that they can be the best that they can be. And so we link that to working on the business. There were many comments about taking time out, whether that's a particular time within the week, or in some cases it was a particular time each day to focus on business development and growth. Now, of course, time is a challenge, and that's why we've gone out and we've sourced admin support, and you'll have seen already the emails gone out promoting that. And that's something we're going to continue working on as well, because we know the importance of having the right administrator. But of course, don't forget, we've got the new Acre system that's there, and the whole purpose of that is to streamline and to make it easier to do the paperwork. Perhaps the less glamorous side of what we do, both as business owners and indeed as advisors. So that was the first takeaway for me. We want to do more on this. So you'll notice at the next round of events, which by the way, I will be at, and I'm looking forward to being at as well. In the next round of events, we plan to have a business coach in place to talk about goal setting, business planning, and time management. So we're going to bring that in. Another area that came out regularly for us was protection sales, and particularly the advice process. And it was nice to hear how so many had taken the time to look at the network advice process, if you will, link it in with the process that our CRM system offers, Acre offers, but then adapt it to suit your own businesses. So we talk about that because in so doing, it's enabled some firms to be very successful in their protection sales approach. That's again something we want to develop further. So you'll notice as I come around in August, I'll be joined by Phil Davis as well. Phil works with us on protection growth and development, So we're very much looking forward. The guys who were at Newcastle have already, sorry, Newcastle, the ones at Newport rather, have already met Phil and heard some of his insights, but we're going to just grow that and have a little section on protection sales. And also we want to link that to some of the specialist systems we spoke about, Underwrite Me, CI Expert. Those are systems that you should each be looking at for within your business, because they certainly should help to give you an uplift in your average premium income. So lots was said about protection sales and generally the advice process. We'll explore that further on our next round. As you can expect, we spoke about AI and technology at length. That one's going to keep moving. We spoke about the integrations available through Acre as well. So we've got the Zapier integrations, which opens up a vast number, thousands of different CRM systems as well. We move on to marketing and social media. That was also an area that many felt they were successful in, but as many felt they were successful, there was still a good number who wanted to do more. So expect to see some communications from us about simplifying our approach to use of social media, and also expect to see some communications about how you can be effective at marketing and promoting your business whilst, of course, staying on the right side of regulation. Another area that we want to explore a little further with you, and we'll do this with the assistance of a business coach, and no doubt with the assistance of our provider partners as well, and that's client segmentation and retention. So how to decide which customers to contact, how often to contact, and what nature of relationship you need to have in place with them. So emphasis was definitely placed on segmenting client banks and making sure that communication was targeted and that you take appropriate reviews, both for understanding and satisfaction purposes. We mentioned as well, just briefly, when we talk about client retention, don't forget the mortgage metric system that we spoke about on the way out and about. We've done a communication on that since, so you will have all seen it. But if not, please speak with any of us, and we'll be happy to guide you through what that system can do for your business. And as we say, that the rest of it came down to training, peer support, working together collaboratively. I mentioned my goal of having a little inter-peer group competition. So that's something that you'll be hearing from me very soon. We'll send something out on that. Just to keep it fun, we want to look at which peer group area has been the most successful at growing their business. So hopefully you'll take that as it's intended, just as a bit of fun competition between the peer groups. Those for me were the key themes. There were many, many more things. I've got pages and pages of notes. You'll all see me tapping away onto my my notepad as we were going along. And you'll notice that we'll be sharing some of the great things we've done in due course as well. So again, thanks.
We've also spoke to somebody about social media. So if anybody wants any social media support, we have got some experts lined up to join Ben, but in between times they are available for you to find out more about them. And the other thing that I don't know, Ben and I I've thrown this into our carefully structured meeting here, but the other thing about the peer groups is we've had some feedback about how people were already chosen to be in the peer groups. Well, if you something that you're interested in, if you're listening to this and thinking, I didn't even know peer groups existed, then get in touch with your national account manager, Chelsea, Kim, or Jaden, or your product manager, and just say, what's the criteria to get to a peer group? And we'd like to invite more people and work out whether we just put more on. So that we can do the same for everybody. I thought that's important to mention. Sorry, Ben.
I was going to say, I agree, because these are invite only. They're very different to our roadshows, aren't they? So it's making sure people are aware. You will maybe have to read an email though to be able to come. So there is that aspect to it. But yeah, it's trying to make sure everybody who is an AR principal who wants to be involved can still be involved, isn't it? And get to grips with with these things.
Yeah, do you know what, Victoria? It's really important as well that we just stress that wants to be involved. You don't have to be involved. This is about working with your peers to grow your business, and your peers holding you accountable for the things you say you're going to do. So there's literally no point coming along if you don't want to grow or you don't want to be held accountable. Don't worry, that's fine. We're not saying you have to be, but that's the purpose of it, to make sure that you're as both supported and held accountable. So yeah, the more the merrier. We'd certainly like to see more of our firms engaging and sharing some of these excellent best practices that help to grow business.
As Ben said, it is the people that want to be held accountable. So don't come to one and then feel like you've been picked on because you've told us one thing and you're not doing it, because it is about people that want to be held accountable. But we realise that not everybody wants to run their business like that, and we don't want to be a network that dictates people's targets and turnovers.
But just with that, that's where the road shows are really, really good for people who want to learn and they want to do what they're doing, not bothered about other people, completely fine. That's why we've got the different types of events as we do as a network, isn't it? And I was going to say, obviously, as being head of lending, the little plug then there with Air Group were also at your peer groups. You haven't touched on them, but they brought a lot of information forward about how you can look at the whole of the life market. And I think that's, like we've been talking about, got quite missed that we have that opportunity within the network. But people, again, if there's so many emails, I do understand where it can get lost, but we want to help with the training and things on that, don't we? So and I think a lot of people had never heard of it before. So if there's more we can do in that area to share that with you, please do reach out and we can send you information, whether that's in the lending team for mortgages or extra release. They can really get involved in that.
Yeah, I'd agree. Do you know what I said earlier on, how grateful I was to the providers for supporting us? But we should just mention just a few things that they put in about their own products as well. So first of all, we think about Payment Shield. You'll have seen by now that they've launched the unemployment version of their accident sickness unemployment cover. So that's come back to the market after quite some time out. Now that we're in this post-COVID world, it's really good to see them come back. So we should just give that a little plug and say thank you as well to Payment Shield for bringing that back to us. Certainly that's going to be it's good to have a mainstream version of unemployment cover back in our kit bag, so to speak, to provide a service to our customers. We also ought to mention the massive growth area that is income protection as well. Certainly it was really good to hear from Holloway Friendly about what this means and how that is going to grow for them as well. So yeah, that seems to be a big growth area for the network at the moment. I'm sure it's an important area for your customers. We didn't talk often about the cash machine in the corner, but I will give it a little plug. If you had that cash machine in the corner, you guarantee that you would insure it. That's the abridged version, but for the longer version, please give me a shout. And then also we do want to mention, Key Retirement Group were there, represented predominantly by Air. And we spoke at length about the Air Navigator tool as well, and how that enables you to give more holistic advice to customers, particularly in the later life lending space. So we're talking those, 55 and upwards, and how you can compare the different lending products that are available. So yeah, just a practical thank you and some of the practical suggestions rather that came from our peers. And the other thing I forgot to mention as we were chatting through is the size of these groups. Generally, we found that we were around about 10 or just over individuals on them. We reckon we can accommodate up to 15. And the reason for that is so that we can have the discussion. So one of the other things that you need to be prepared to bring if you want to come to a peer group meeting is conversation. Don't be afraid. There's nothing silly, and you'll get some good feedback on it.
And that's not to say, is it, that just if we get to 15, that's it, you can't come. We'll put on another one. We'll put on one with another regional one on. So yeah, it is really something we want to help our advisors on, isn't it? And you've talked about it throughout as well, but these peer groups are not just about saying hello. It really is about, like you said, that next level, really deep diving in with the advisors as well. So all of these different things sound really, really exciting. So what's next then? What are you going to do with how are you going to make it all happen with all these actions that got taken from the last meeting?
Well, I suppose I can answer that because I was the one taking liberal notes. The first thing we've done is we've set up a little team who are working on the outcomes, the actions that we've picked up, the feedback. Some will move quicker than others, as you can imagine. Some were bigger and some were somewhat easier to deal with. So the first thing to say is we've got people working on them, and that's why you'll have started to see things land. So we mentioned already a couple of times the promotion of the admin support services through Intrust, Stephanie Leather. So that's one thing we've done. We've had the the invites that are able to be shared by the multimedia channels. That was one of the questions that was raised. Is it possible for me to send out my portal invite for ACRE via other media channels? Yes, it is. And we've communicated on that. Again, if you want to know more about that, please just speak to any of the ACRE champions. They can help you on it. We picked up a few commission queries along the way. Those were easy for us to deal with. We passed them on to the commission team and they've been engaging there. We've also put on some additional training sessions for various questions relating to ACRE and how the process works, how it fits with your advice process. They've already happened. We've done perfect file training because that was requested to make it easier and clearer to understand what the network wants and what the regulator wants. So we put those sessions out there. And as we mentioned already, the integrations, we put some communications out about integrations via Zapier for ACRE as well. So these were all really important for us, but this is just the beginning. This is just the start. We've got an action list that we're continuing to work against, and I anticipate that by August there'll be more things for me to update you on as well. But what's next is August. Come along to the next series of events. We want as many as possible to be there and to be engaged. We want to share with you the good things that we've done. We're investing both time and money to make sure that the people who are in front of you are able to grow and develop your business. And that means we'll be bringing in external support for that as well, where appropriate. So yeah, just come along and taste it and feel the benefits.
Can I just ask, Ben, is the perfect file training sessions on the advisor side? Are they easily accessible?
They went on this week.
I think that if everybody, personally, as a salesperson, and hearing that people don't have time, is that if you don't make our system adapt to your process while following the regulation process, you're going to be stumped with it. So we've done the perfect file training just so that you know what you need to do, what boxes need to be ticked, but how you do it, how you execute it, how you fulfill it has to fit in with your own process. And I think that's quite important. It seemed too obvious to me to have ever said before, but ACRE is there to support your business, to help you make your admin easier. So take what you need and what you can do and work it out. Don't complain that things are taking you longer to do because you're doing something in a roundabout way because you don't realize that was the way it used to be done on the key, and this is different, so it looks like you're doing it twice as long. Not that many people said that. I even heard a couple of people say that they've got rid of their admin now. They've got ACRE because they're finding it easier.
No way! That is a great plug, that is.
I know, it was great.
Not if you work in admin.
Not if you work in admin, yeah. No. Which was interesting, wasn't it, Ben? Why we found then other people saying, well, I don't know how you can say that, I'm just so busy. There was somebody that's got 150 product transfers all ready for next year. So did you want
this year and next year is going to be mental for product transfers. It's going to be another podcast that we're going to be going through it. As you can imagine, it was to allude to what the podcast will be about. As you can imagine, this was the prime time in COVID where people were getting stamp duty holiday, people were getting mortgage rates for under 1%, mental. So you can imagine how busy these advisors are going to be. And if you're not busy, you're not looking at the opportunity. That's all I've got to say. But I will save that, put that in a box for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that one as well. Yeah, fantastic opportunities ahead. And I think probably the key thing is, you know, make sure that you're working on as many efficiencies as you possibly can within your business. And ask me about how ChatGPT is helping us to be efficient. I'll share that with you next time.
Yeah.
But right, thank you so much. As we've said, the next peer groups are in August. So if you haven't been invited to the series we just had, please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have you involved. You'll probably, by the time you hear this as well, the road shows will be in full mix as well. So there's still probably time to get registered for those. They do get sold out very quickly. But a great opportunity to get around all of our lenders. And there'll be another session of those coming out in September too. So you won't have missed them if you have missed this series too. But thank you so much for joining us again, Ben and Amanda, as well. It's been really great to have you on here. It's so great to hear directly about how it all went. Thank you very much to all of our listeners who have been listening as well. And as always, if you want to follow the plans and the insights of the network from whether it be our staff that we've introduced now with the Opportunities podcast, or whether it's with the lenders or providers, we've got it all on here on the podcast. So subscribe and watch out for the listings of the new series. I've been your host for today, Victoria Clark. Thank you very much and see you at our future events. Thanks both.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Goodbye.